Hi guys, having tea time with a topic. The topic is losing independence with disability. I just woke up this morning frustrated. You know when you have a dream? Funny thing is, even Matt had a dream. I guess we both woke up for different frustrated reasons probably, but all connected probably to the same thing. Disability. Everything disability. It's shit. Ever since my life and disability took over, it's been shit. And it's difficult because the cognitive dissonance and the disconnect of normal people, even who work in the sector, is just not there. And it's not like it's their choice. It just is what it is. You have to have it to know it. Don't you agree? People who are sick, actively sick, disabled, or whether you're just disabled, unless someone lives your life, they don't get it. I just want my independence back. I've asked to trial my electric wheelchair rather than just buy it, because of course there's a risk if it's not the right one. It's just a drama and a half. That's minimizing it. To change it, even though between GQ and my spine I really should have one built for me, but I'm a nice person, I'm not even asking. Even though that's what I should be getting because there's so many problems. But basically my spine's like broken. It's a mess. And I feel every single bit of it. But basically, I feel no independence anymore. And sometimes people around you do that without realizing. There's just this chitter-chatter that goes on that you just, your head spins. And you just like, you feel like that child again, that your mum takes out places, and just, you just got to be part of it. You just got to sit there. I'd give anything just to go back to not being disabled. Or, I've always been disabled, visibly. And dependent on systems. I've always been someone who likes to do it for myself. This just doesn't suit my personality, and it doesn't help my situation. It's my cup of tea. Being autistic is hard to have people around you, and they've got to be familiar, and they've got to be, and it's not that we hate people, it's just we don't click with everyone, right? And it's really hard. And no one understands us verbal autistics, because they do hear words and they hear us, but they actually don't, because the miscommunication is just so ridiculous. I don't even bother correcting it anymore, because I guess for me it's always, I just don't want to hurt people's feelings, because it's not their fault, because they're not autistic and that I am. But it's a scary place when so much you're supposed to cope with, because the assumption is that you can, so you're forced to. It's hard. And then when you got that fight for independence, because before you used to like wing it really well, and it worked. I want that freedom back. And everything just keeps coming back to the same thing, with all of it connecting with medical, and medical not keeping up with everything with me, affecting my disability stuff. And even just the fear of hiring this electric wheelchair, and just fearing that it's my neurology that's going to say, no, you can't actually use an electric one because it's not probably the machine necessarily. It might be me. It might be my brain. That frustrates me so much because being late diagnosed, how long would it take to be assessed to get the type of wheelchair that people like that need? Who the hell knows? I mean, it took them 48 years to work out I had a genetic syndrome. I've only been in the medical system 1,000 billion times since birth, born in the ICU, you know? Just a bit slow on the uptake, but they're getting there. We're making progress. So much grief. Sometimes I catch myself thinking of things like, I'll never be able to do that again, or I'll never be able to do this again. I'm normally the opposite. I normally just do things, luckily, every day, all the things that I can. And you guys know I do, you see it. But then there's moments like this where you just wake up so frustrated because it's like, especially when people always act like, oh, but you know, look at your house, it's so pretty. And it's like, there was once a sick girl that said, when she bought a new house with her husband, and she was very sick, and I really related to that couple. She was sick with Lyme disease, but I had glandular fever, and I related through my stages of glandular fever with Matt. We just met, and you know, she said, yeah, we've got this house together and it's going to be a beautiful place to suffer. And I know a lot of you don't get that, but I really do. And I remember both of us laughing at the documentary that he made for her about, you know, when you're getting married and you're so sick, and you know, on my wedding day, you wouldn't guess how sick I was feeling. You can't see it in the beautiful makeup and the beautiful dress, or my engagement, or my 18th, that I ended up going and laying in bed halfway through my 18th birthday party. That's how much I've suffered since forever. Not one special moment or day of my life has not been affected by 22q. Having my children, high-risk pregnancies, awful. I loved being pregnant, but my body was very, very distressed. I remember watching that couple, and the funny things they did was exactly us. Sometimes it would be 1 o'clock in the morning and we'd go downstairs and make up a storm of food. Frozen pizza, garlic bread, and take it upstairs and just eat in front of the TV. And it was funny. And it's funny because to someone with disability, that's like a super cool thing. It's almost like a normal person, I don't know, going to a dress-up party and having a ball. It's the same feeling. But that's what kind of life I've had. I've not had a real one. But yet I have to pretend with people around me all the time that I have. It's not just autism that masks. There's a lot of us that grew up sick and disabled in an era where it was really disgusting to be disabled. And you weren't allowed to talk about it. You wouldn't ever show it, talk about it. It was not like that at all. He didn't even talk about bullying because there wasn't even disability discussions to even be able to defend yourself with and say, yeah, you're all picking on me about this, but it's because of my autism, or it's because of this, or it's because of that. My life hasn't been normal. But people don't get this. It's 2025, guys. And I'm sorry, but I know a lot of you are like, oh, I just can't wait for... I know what you're all waiting for. You're waiting for your time to be heard. And I get it. But even when you're diagnosed with something big, like a genetic syndrome, you get told, here's this, here's that. If you want some genetic counselling, let us know. We'll try and arrange something, because, you know, normally we do it with parents and children and babies. But anyway, we'll try to organise it, and then we'll send you out a bunch of stuff, and oh, I don't know, Google the rest of it, you know? Like, okay. I didn't just get this, guys, the day I got diagnosed. When I was a child, I was the child that was like, no, you can't go outside, you're sick. No, you can't go outside because the mosquitoes and this and that, and I have no time, and I can't be bothered having another anaphylaxis reaction with you and having to go to the doctor or the hospital because you've swollen up. Because I used to go, okay, mosquito syndrome severely. No, you can't. You have to sleep with all this protocol, and it was just always on antibiotics, always on medications of different kinds for different parts of the body, whatever. I was a mess. I just feel a real longing for going back in time when I lived in a house with my children, even though I know that can't be forever. Kids have got to grow up and move out, but just that's when life last felt normal. So it's not like I'm expecting my kids to come live with me. They're always welcome to, but it's like they've got their own lives, right? But I'm just saying, like, that was the last time I felt normal, even though I was very, very disabled still. It's just last time I felt normal. Life since 2020 for me has not got back to normal. Generational curse. I mean, who has a story like mine? Late diagnosis of a severe syndrome and told, oh, you've got 25, 30 years less. Yeah, no shit, I can feel it. Anyway, thanks for telling me at 48. And then on top of that, who has parents that don't even like their child? I have a mother and father that hate me. I know my grandfathers loved me, but I don't. Sometimes did my nanas love me because they had to? They saved the marriage baby. That's all I am. It didn't work, by the way, but you know. And then I was born with all these problems. I'm probably the blame for the divorce. I wouldn't be surprised, because I was difficult. Disability is considered difficult. When you don't even want to be a parent, I guess it is difficult to parent a disabled child, special needs child. But the fact is, I want to live how other people live. I want to be living my best life, and I'm not ever going to get that. I don't get to go to work, I don't get to earn money, I don't get to go out there and go out to lunches and eat normal. I don't get to do anything normal. I don't fit in socially with people because of my autism. I don't know, people get confused by that because some people don't see my autism. You autistics know what that's like. It's like, yeah, I know, I'm so good at hiding it, but live with me and you'll see I don't really function very like an adult should at 50. I don't have the emotional strength as a 50-year-old, I don't believe. And it's really hard. With 22Q, there's so much anxiety and fear involved in it, but it's strong. And I just feel like in a world that's becoming colder and more accepting of the fact that families aren't families anymore. Makes me sad that a lot of people out there accept that. I think that's sad. I also don't recognize my own country anymore, and I'm feeling really isolated and lonely and displaced. I haven't seen many familiar people since 2020. I don't know about any of you. Since 2020, everything just broke. Socially. Family. In my world anyway. I'm just sick of everyone talking for me, even though I need it. I absolutely need it. I would be on the streets if I didn't have this kind of support. I've even been told that, and I've said to them, by a professional, not just a person. And I said, I know that. I know. I don't disagree. I have no fucking clue on things that people think I have a clue about. That's why every time I see certain types of homeless people, I'm like, yeah, you're probably autistic. You don't know what to do. And everyone assumes because you're a grown adult, you know what to do. And they don't. They don't. And it makes me sad. And yes, I can use words, but I can't also use words to explain how I feel. And I know that people hear this, and I can say this to Sir, and you all think you understand, but there's so much more in here I can't explain. And I'm frustrated because until I get to the point of getting to explain that, I'm going to sit in this uncomfortable feeling for months. Months, because it'll take me that long to work out what's going on. Because I don't understand emotions. I don't understand life situations. It takes me a long time to figure it all out. But all I know is that this system is doing my head in. Like, the hospital, they're supposed to be referring me to cardiology and respiratory. They literally had the conversation with me face to face because the alarms were going off all the time. And we've been telling them that with my device at home, which is exactly the same to the number of their machines. Hospital grade watch. oxygen heart rate monitor, and it's been really bad. But it seems to have disappeared. The internal referrals just don't exist. I believe they're trying to kill me. Because I'm not worth saving, because I am a drain to the taxation system. Useless. Because this is now, well, hospitals are a business. I'm not a worker. They're not going to save me. And a lawyer doesn't seem to be stepping up, even though my lawyer is trying to get one. No one wants to step up. And I don't really care if they do, because like I said to Matt, I do believe that Jesus will decide when I leave this earth, not the medical system. But it would be nice to be comfortable, because I'm not. I'm in a lot of pain because of this system physically, because of unnecessary infections and problems with my heart and neurology and many more. And it's not good. And the pain, I have to keep on top of taking this horrible painkiller, because if I don't, then my heart starts playing up and I start getting chest pain and arrhythmia and all the rest of it. I can't win. So I have to keep on top of the pain. I'm just tired of this since I was a child. I'm not tired of protocol. And everyone around you just gets frustrated. And I allow them to, and I respect that they get frustrated, and I understand why. And I have absolute understanding of other people's perspectives. I get it. It's natural for them to feel that. But it's because of me. I guess that's why we're on the abortion list. They're hiding this readings that happen, so I have to get now freedom of information, I guess, is what I'm going to have to do, is get hold of my records of when I was last there to try and save my life. My doctor's pissed. He shakes his head. The nurses in the hospital when I was in there were shaking their head. And I wish I could go tap them on the shoulder now and tell them what's happening now, because that's just not cool. But they don't want to save me, they want to kill me. Because I'm not worth saving, because I'm not a tax earner anymore. Taxation. Taxpayer, but you guys can call it tax. You can call it income, but you know what? It's not income. They just want your money. We've always given them money. We've always been self-sufficient, except for, I think it's coming up to 6 years, so fuck off. Anyway. Just want to get in a van and run away. I just feel like that's one thing I miss the most, is just freedom, and it just gets taken away. It's really hard growing up in a town that grows from a town to a city, and so many people, that I'm not used to this. And all my favorite places from childhood, like I even saw something from the prawn grubs on TikTok, and I was angry. Happy but angry. It's lovely what they've created, but angry because it's like those special places I used to go as a kid where no one else was there. No one else would ever be there. It was your little sacred place. All those places have been taken over. And just, I don't know, like, there was a different respect for places in my day than there is now. Now it's just, oh, it's super cool Instagram photo place. No. There's a specialness to all these places that need to just be like, look what God created. Look at what this earth has. It's beautiful and it's something to connect with. Take your shoes off and really like sit on a rock, or these things are important. And now they're just commercialized and just a TikTok cool place to be TikToked on. You know, as in you go there just to TikTok it. You know what I mean? There's not just one or two cultures that had sacred places. I feel like we all develop a very sacred place in our heart of places we grew up. Places that we inhibited so strongly in a spiritual way. In a spiritual way. And when I lived down south, conservation was our mentality. Hug a tree, blah, blah, blah. Not a joke. It's still not a joke to me now. It's just, I'm so grateful for finding my peace as a child standing in the middle of a forest looking up at the sunlight hitting the trees. I'm grateful. I'd give up all of this to go back to that. Living self-sufficient in a heartbeat. If the government would let us. We don't have freedom. So there's extremes there. I've come from that freedom to this much control, and it's really hard. There's no NJS SDA self-sufficient living farm. Anyway, life isn't fair for everyone, but for disability, your options really just reduce from that to like freaking that, okay? And it just sucks. It's like even the lady yesterday with the wheelchairs. Oh, you can get the ones with the big tires that can go hiking. And I was just like, that's the one thing I thought I'd never do again. But I don't have the money for that. NGOs don't cover that. They don't cover fun. It just sucks. The last time I went on a hike was one of the red flags I had of my neurology. We went on a hike. It was actually one of our short ones. And at the end of it, we were laughing because my legs wouldn't keep going at one point. They just kept slowing down. They just kept getting like stiffer and then like floppy and jelly, but not in a, it wasn't like I'd overworked my body. I was well within my fitness range. It wasn't lactic acid or anything. And that laughter turned into just silence of concern, of like, something's wrong. Anyway, that's the last hike I did because I didn't feel safe, because to get me from when it got to the point where my legs wouldn't walk anymore, even though I could stand up still, just us having to drag me, carry me, piggyback me to the car, it became a bit of a joke and a bit of a bad thing. So we didn't risk it again. And that was my last hike. have fought being in a wheelchair for a long time. I give in because of the benefits and the extra things I get to do. The first time I was forced to have to use one because we'd been using one, but my kids didn't really know because in the house is different too. They didn't come shopping with us, for example, and I had stopped going shopping with my youngest, which was one of those things we used to do with him and his girlfriend, but you know, we stopped doing that because, well, I stopped because I couldn't, but we didn't tell them I was using a wheelchair. And then we'd finally bought one because we got so desperate to buy one that laid down as well because of my problems of having sitting up for such long periods of time, but being forced to. That was because when we were at Centrelink once, I passed out sitting in my wheelchair because I was too sick to sit up. Anyway, I had to be there, right? For the first time with my new wheelchair was at my son's wedding. I walked in the church because I was like, as much as I knew it was going to hurt me, as much as I rested to do that, I wanted my son to see me as he knows me. But then at the reception, I had to be in a wheelchair, and it was just, I felt so embarrassed, and like I'd let him down. Sucks. But anyway, hang on to your independence if you can. I don't have the answers to the grief of loss of independence at all. I need to do another mud mask. I don't have the answers. If you do have answers or suggestions, feel free to comment below. But this happens to a lot of us, eh? So I know a lot of people out there are like, oh, I would love to have some carers. I get you. And there's certain things that are just wonderful. It's like, yep, there's certain things you stop struggling with, like crawling on the floor and, you know, hurting yourself and doing. I know all the things that go with doing things you shouldn't be doing. I know. Been there, done that. And it is hard. And I honour that if you're having to do that, because it's not easy. It's not easy. It's actually quite scary. And I worry about people that have to do that. So I'm sorry if you have to do that, because no one deserves to not have assistance if they're disabled. That's just unimaginable to me anymore. But also getting help. My bed's rattling on that. You're annoying my senses. Can you stop it? That was sensory going to send me over the edge because I'm having emotions that I can't even describe. Okay, it's really uncomfortable. I hate emotions. Far out. What was I saying? Okay. Well, that was good. Cheers. Oh, yeah, having help, it starts to make you feel the more help you get, and it's not those people's fault, and it's good that you're getting the help. But for me, it's felt like with every package bunch of care that I've been receiving, the more chunks of me I'm losing myself. And it's not because I was doing it before. So I don't know why, It's not that I don't need it. Far out, I do. And so does Sir, because he does too much that he's non-stop till at night time. It's just not okay, right? It's just every chunk of what people do for me. I feel like I just lose it. I sometimes just lie here watching people do stuff for me and I just think I'm jealous. Why can't I stand up? Why can't I do these things anymore? It's like the other day I did something and I was crying that night in pain, and I said with Matt, and he was like, oh, but this, you got these limitations. I'm like, no, this is nothing. I did barely nothing today. I should not be feeling this. So I'm in this frustration mode. So keeping it real, like I promised you. So anyone with disability, I feel you. All right, Belle, that's her contribution, by the way. She's very vocal. Yeah, but if you have any suggestions or ideas or can tell me what the hell's going on with me right now, just let me know below, because I am autistic and emotions. I'll have an epiphany soon. At some point an epiphany will happen and I'll go, sir, this, and he'll go, yep, that's it. He knows already, but I don't. All I know is I'm just not feeling my independence, like a zip of it, like zilch. I don't like the feeling. So anyway, don't worry, I'll work it out. When I say comment below, that is just for what you think. It might not fit for me, or it might. I'm going to fix this, but this is just my challenge right now. It's feeling very heavy. And if you've experienced it too, I understand. So here's like cheers to independence, everyone that needs it. Keep whatever part of it and savor it, or just, I don't know, maybe that's the solution, to kind of like enjoy those independent things you can still do. I don't know. Anyway, love you all. Signing off. Thank you to you new peoples. I welcome you. I hope that these things, all of my different things I show, there's something is for you and helps you, because that's my motivation for this. You're worthy, okay? Speak up for yourself whenever you can, if you can formulate the sentences. I know that's hard if you're autistic, but just always advocate for yourself, okay? Because you are worth it, and you are an equal human. Being disabled does not make you less than. Bye.